Do you know that in India there is reservation for those so-called lower caste in jobs? Do you know or not?
I don't know. I didn't know something.
The reservation is there because they have been exploited for a very long time, and hence they have remained poor and they are less educated. But originally the idea was to give them reservation for 10 years. The man who created the constitution, one of the man who created, was Ambedkar. So he said that it should last only for 10 years. But now it has become a reservation politics. The more reservation some party give, the more vote it gets. So it has nothing, and even in those castes, the creamy layer manage to get reservation, and those who really need, they don't get it. And what Vivekananda said was that when someone has less intelligence or is poor, then he should be taught by more teacher. More teacher should help him to understand things. When you, like if a person is very intelligent, he may need one teacher. And if the person is really intelligent, one time he is told anything, he understands it. But if you are not so intelligent, then you may need many teachers, or many times you need to be taught. So when someone is a backbencher or is not so intelligent, more teachers should work on him, so that you bring him to the level of those who are intelligent. But if you are giving them reservation, you are not developing their quality. They are less qualified. They are less capable. But they are getting the same job. When someone is a doctor and he is less qualified, he will not be a good doctor. When someone is a lecturer and he is less qualified, he will not be able to teach the way someone who is more qualified. So the better thing is that work on them more, make more effort so that their level increases. So giving reservation is from the very beginning a politics to buy their vote. But when you have been very much mistreated by upper caste, then for some year it is justified, it should be done. But it goes on, it continues. More than 70 years have passed and still it continues. So this is now just sheer politics. Very bad thing. In this way you are destroying the quality of a nation. Very, very ugly thing. And you cannot expect good things from politicians, because they are the worst, the most mediocre kind of people. Only those people are interested in politics who have mostly no skill, who are not talented people. That's why it is required that those who are creative and talented, those who are master of certain subject, they should be in politics, because they have the maximum opportunity to change things. Everything is in their hand. So only those who are really deserving, those who are the most talented people should be in politics. If a man is to deal with science and subject like science, the most capable person in the country should be the Minister of Science. The most capable and skillful person should become the Education Minister. A person who has insight and intelligence. But when we label politics as something very dirty, then only third-rate people will go into it. So, but why this reservation is needed? Why these people should get reservation? I just understood that, it's not that I understood now, but I understood it that in India we had 4 Varnas, and these Varnas were very scientific. They were created by sages who could understand your inner nature. So in the beginning it was very good. The Varnas has nothing to do with birth. Krishna had made it very clear that the Varna is based on your kind of work you are doing, your inner quality, your aptitude, your tendencies, your nature. So basically there are 4 kind of people. Those who are just interested in truth. They are not fighting for truth. They are not fighters. They have surrendered totally to existence so that existence should reveal its secrets. They are like flowing with the current, going with the current, not fighting against the current. They are the purest, their aura is purest. They are Brahmins. Those who are, their only interest is to seek truth. They are the people who have this quest, this burning desire to know the truth. And if they are not fighting for it, if they are just relaxed, they have no desire. They are kind of like, when your inner state is very pure, when there is no contamination in your consciousness, then once you are relaxed, truth will be revealed to you. You need not do any technique. You need not make any effort. All these efforts, all these techniques, all these cathartic methods are needed because you are already very strongly programmed, very strongly conditioned. You have already collected so much of bullshit, so much of garbage that it need to be thrown out. Society has given you so much of shit. Your pseudo-religious teaching and your priests and politicians and your teachers have already programmed you so strongly that you have become a robot. Then you have to drop all those things. But if you have not been wrongly programmed, you can just relax and meditation will happen as sleep happens. You need not make any effort. If you are making effort for sleep won't happen. So their aura is white. And then the second one is called Kshatriyas. Their aura is red. These people are rebel. These people are hot people. These people are fighters. They will fight for good cause. They cannot accept any injustice. They are always there to protect the weak people. They are brave people. They are courageous people. They are like samurai. For them, they can gamble their life. For them, they will not even think for even a second. If there is no fear within them. The word for that is abhay. Abhay means absence of fear. It is not nirbhay. Nirbhay means you have the fear inside, but still you are fighting. So real Kshatriya has no fear of death. Whatever the cause he believes in, he is ready to give his head without even thinking. Because once thinking enters inside your head, you are already divided. Already the fear is inside you. So Kshatriyas are daredevil. But when they become interested in truth, their way will be that of conquest. They will fight for it. They will do all kind of austerity, all kind of tapasya. Their ego is like, you can say, very integrated, condensed ego. Their ego is not divided. These are the warriors. Very people with grandeur, with majesty. They're emotional kind of people. Then the third is, that person is a mixture of all the three, Brahmin, Kshatriya and Sudra. So it is not very clear, it is not very distinct. So they are called Vaishyas. These people are like, they are like businessmen, but they do business with ethic, with morality. They provide for your physical need, food and clothing and all those things, but in a very pure way. Not that they're not just looking for their benefit, and they're not there to exploit you. Because everyone in India used to be a seeker. That's why this country is called Bharat. Those who are in search of truth. In its purity, I am saying this was the country, the very idea of India. And then the fourth one is called Sudras. Sudra means one who wants to be clean and who wants to keep clean everything, like your town, your village, everything. These are the people who keep things clean. They are the people who work with hand and feet. They are the laborer kind of people who don't have that much intelligence. But they are people who work with their hand and feet. So their way is called seva. That if they serve you without seeking any fruit, just serving is enough. Fruit, if it has to come, it will come. But they are not greedy for the fruit. When you are serving without any motive, then your service become meditation. It will not create ego, and that will help you to know yourself. So these are the four varnas. But in the beginning it was very clear cut, because there were all arrangement was such that when someone is of the quality of Brahmin, he will be born only in the family of Brahmin. And if he has the quality of Kshatriya, he will be born only in that family. But these are the privileged class, the upper varnas mostly. It's not that in the beginning it was like that, because the way varnas are described is like from the head of the god, Brahmin is born. From the hand and chest is the Kshatriyas are born. And the belly is the Vaishyas. And the thigh and leg is the Sudras. But it is not that the Brahmins are on the top. It is an organic thing. You cannot survive without your leg. You cannot do anything just if you have intelligence and if you have no hand and feet. How can you do anything? How can you perform anything? Then it will be only an idea in your head. So it's not that the feet and the leg and the thigh is lower and head is the top. But this is how those who have to misuse things, those who have to exploit, they will interpret it in this way. So in the beginning, Brahmins were not that you are born in the family of Brahmins, so you will be a Brahmin. So there is a story that there was a sage called Uddalak, and his son came from the forest and he was coming like a very haughty person, because he has learned all the scriptures, he had come to know everything. Then the father asked him, have you been able to know that, knowing which everything is known? He said that my guru didn't teach me that subject. I know all other subjects, but this I don't know. So his father said, until and unless you know that, you can never become a Brahmin. In our family, no one has been Brahmin just because he has been born in the family of Brahmin. Only when we have come to know the truth, only when you have come to know the Brahman, you have the right to call yourself a Brahmin. So again, go back to your guru's place and ask him to teach you that, knowing which you have come to know everything. So the son went, and then later on he came to know the truth. So I will not tell it in detail, but it happens, this is human nature, that once you are born in a privileged family, then you want that privilege to remain. And you don't want to make effort. In the beginning, things are very disciplined, people are very honest, but slowly corruption starts happening. And then in the family of Brahmins, anyone who is born a Brahmin, they started declaring that we are Brahmins. But in this way, you cannot be a real Brahmin. So those people, it is the Brahmins who were the beginner of reservation. Just by being born in a family of Brahmin, you started becoming a Brahmin. Just by being born in a family of Kshatriyas, you started becoming a warrior. But this is absurd. This is totally ridiculous. You need that quality. Without quality, how you are a Brahmin? That's why if you see now Brahmins, they are the worst of the creature mostly. Only that they have the ego that they are superior. They have this superiority complex that they are above all, holier than thou. They have a condescending attitude that all others are inferior and they are the supreme most. But the reality is that they have nothing superior about them. It is just a reservation policy. You have reserved that you will always remain on the top. Though there is no difference now. Everyone is almost same. That's why in our scriptures, those who came to know the truth, they said that by birth everyone is a Sudra. As long as you think that you are the body-mind complex, you are this body-mind mechanism, you are this body, you are a Sudra. Only by knowing your inner nature, only by knowing that you are the truth, you are the consciousness, you can declare that you are a Brahmin. So, and then then if you are not a real Brahmin, if you are Brahmin just by your birth, then you will not have all those qualities. You are as unconscious as anyone else. So then these people, because They know that they are not real Brahmins. They are feeling guilty somewhere inside. And they are unconscious also. Then these people start exploiting those who are of lower varna. It's not in reality that they are lower, but or lower caste. Because a person who is not contented, who is not blissful, can only exploit, can only be a sadist. That person will become cruel. If you are unconscious, you are bound to become cruel. Because you want to remain the master, you want to reduce others into slave. And in this way, these Brahmins started exploiting, then they developed so many ways to exploit, so many ways to torture others. That it became, later on it became like those who were Sudras, they were mistreated so much that even to touch their body and you will become impure. So these Sudras have to go on beating some musical instrument like dhol or something to declare that they are coming, so that the Brahmins, even their shadow should not fall on the Brahmin. And then all kind of exploitation, all kind of mistreating them. They started treating them even worse than animals. So now I think that whatever these Brahmins are suffering, even whatever has happened in Kashmir and anywhere, wherever now the Brahmins they have lost all their glory. Now they have to do all kind of work. They have become very poor, and they are not even learned. Most of the Brahmins are not even scholarly, what to say about knowing themselves. They are as stupid as any other caste. Even worse than other castes, because they have this ego that they are higher than others. So whatever happened to Brahmins all over India or in Kashmir, whatever happened to Kashmiri Pandits also, they are also responsible. It is the law of karma. If you do wrong things, then it will return sooner or later. So they are paying the price of their own deed also. Now whatever these Muslims were doing in Kashmir, or they have been doing everywhere, they will rape your woman, they will cut the breast of the live woman, they used to make in Kashmir in schools. I heard that from those people who have suffered these things, that in school they will, in like Muslim Mohammedan festival like Eid and Bakrid, they will cut the cow in the school ground, and the blood will be flowing in the ground, and then they have to sit on the mat, these Hindus boys, and the mat will be drenched with blood. So that was their pleasure, that you have met these Hindus sit on that kind of mat which is drenched with the blood of cow. Then these people were saying that they were invited also by Muslim, their family, that they will insist very much that you come and eat in our family. And this is their tendency, that when they invite you for food, there is a probability they will make something of cow in that food. So these are sick people. But how you became so weak? India was on the top. How they became so weak? Because when you are not alert, that if you are not living a disciplined life, if whatever is expected from a Brahmin he is not doing, he is falling down, Kshatriyas are falling down, they have become slave to luxury, they have become debauch, they have become lustful, then your society start falling down. than anyone coming from outside. You have yourself given them the way. But if the society, everyone, all the varnas are doing whatever is expected of them in a right way, in a proper way, then no one can make you weak, no one can exploit you, no one can conquer you. You are conquered because you have become weak, because you are not true to what you should have been doing. If you are born in the family of Brahmin, you should contemplate and meditate whether you have that quality of Brahmin or not. Otherwise, you have all the freedom, you can go to other varna if that is your nature.
If you like our videos, don't forget to like, share and subscribe.
And send us one apple a day because we want to eat food from the tree of knowledge.